Sairam, dear children, in the previous session we discussed Shankaracharya and his philosophy Advaita and asked some questions. I hope you might have written those answers also. Once again, let's go back and let's try to understand what Advaita philosophy, and some question I will ask some question. Who is the proponent of Advaita philosophy? What do you mean by Advaita? Second question. Note down those questions. This is for Vidyagama. And why did Shankaracharya travel from Kanyakumari to Kashmir? Why did Shankaracharya travel from Kanyakumari to Kashmir? Why did he establish matas in 4 directions? Which are the 4 matas established by Shankaracharya? These are all the questions. Once again, you note down them and answer them. Thus we can understand how much we understood the lesson. Okay, and then we started Ramanujacharya. You know, Ramanujacharya is also one of the acharyas. He propagated the principles and philosophy of Visishtadvaita. And you know that he tried to spread his philosophy even to common people. And Ramanujacharya had keen interest in showing the path of salvation to common people. It shows how much Ramanujacharya had concern over the common people. Means common people were unable to get the education. Only the people, those who are educated, they know the path of something, you know, that bhakti, jnana and karma. And here Ramanujacharya even he had keen interest to show the path of salvation to the common people. And his philosophy is called Visishtadvaita. See, Shankaracharya is the proponent of Advaita philosophy. But here Ramanujacharya, he advocated the philosophy that is called Visishtadvaita. Visishtadvaita. What does it mean? What does Visishtadvaita mean? Here he says, according to his philosophy, Jiva, that means life, and Prakriti are under the control of Brahma. What he says? Jiva and Prakriti. That means nature. Both are under the control of Brahma. Brahma means God. Means Jiva means life, Prakriti means nature, are under the control of Brahma. Both Atma and Paramatma cannot become one simultaneously. See, Shankaracharya says Atma and Paramatma one and the same. Soul will merge with the universal soul. Atma will be merged. Atma will be merged with Paramatma. These are all the principles and the core principle and philosophy of Advaita. But what does Ramanujacharya say? Here he says both Atma and Paramatma cannot be one and the same simultaneously. ಏಕಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವೆರಡು ಒಂದಾಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. He says like that. He said that world is expressed manifestation of Brahma. World is means he expresses that world is the expressed manifestation. What do you mean by expressed manifestation? It is clearly seen manifestation. See, you can see this world. According to Shankaracharya, he says this world is illusory, Maya. But here Ramanujacharya says the world is expressed manifestation of Brahma. What does we can understand here? Each creature is expressed manifestation of Brahma. That means these creatures are creation is of Brahma. It is created by Brahma. Brahma means God. It is clearly visible that it is clearly visible and it is expressed manifestation. Who says? Ramanujacharya says. And adding that, he says world is reality. This is not illusory. This is not Maya like Shankaracharya. He says means through this principle he denies the Mayavada, which was advocated by Shankaracharya. In order to achieve mukti, what do you mean by mukti? Mukti means salvation. In order to achieve mukti, what path he suggests? Mukti. My dear children, what do you mean by mukti? See, there is a cycle of birth and death. There is a cycle of, cycle of birth and death. Birth, death, birth and death. Here this is a cycle. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Jatare shayana. Then you know that. Punarapi janana, puranapa means, see, the liberation from this cycle is called mukti. What? If you get liberation from repeated birth and death cycle, that is called a mukti. Then what is the, it means, mukti means merging with the God. From the cycle of releasing, liberation from this cycle. This death and birth cycle. This is death and birth cycle. This is the mukti. This is called elevation, salvation, moksha. See, you can call like that. Moksha, salvation, elevation, liberation from the cycle of death and birth. But he suggests, in order to achieve mukti, salvation, bhakti and prapanti. Bhakti, immense devotion. Which path he suggests? Which path he suggests? Bhakti. Bhakti and prapatti. Bhakti and prapatti. Bhakti means immense devotion, wholehearted devotion. Prapatti means wholehearted surrenderance. Wholehearted means complete surrenderance to the God is the only way to achieve mukti. See, there are so many paths to attain mukti. There are so many paths suggested by the great philosophers, the great science, Jnana Marga, Bhakti Marga, Karma Marga, Yoga Marga are the path to attain solution. But here, the greatest Acharya, Sri Ramanujacharya suggests, he suggests mukti, to attain mukti, bhakti and prapatti. Bhakti means immense devotion, prapatti means complete surrenderance are important. Then Ramanujacharya criticized caste system. See, Indian society system was based on caste system, and he preached the teachings to all caste. This is not, his teachings not only confined to upper caste. He invited all the people of all the caste and he taught them his teachings. He taught them to stay away from the desires and surrender themselves to the will of God with the complete devotion. Like this, he advocated bhakti path for moksha. Like that, he advocated bhakti path to moksha. See. And Ramanujacharya studied many religious texts and wrote many books like Vedanta Sangraha, Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Deepika, Sri Bhashya. Once again, Vedanta Sangraha, Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Deepika and Sri Bhashya are the many literary works of Sri Ramanujacharya. And he also given importance to the prominence of to bhakti that we can see in his book Gita Bhashya. See, in Gita Bhashya, he stressed the idea of bhakti. See, his teachings reached north and south, east and west. So many scholars, saints came to him. So many saints became the followers of Sri Ramanujacharya. Now let us see who are the prominent disciples, the followers of Sri Ramanujacharya. You know that Saint Ramananda, Saint Raidas of North India were greatly influenced by Ramanujacharya's philosophy. Similarly, the Aravidu dynasty, Tuluva dynasty of Vijayanagara kingdom were followers of his philosophy. You know that already Bittideva, he invited Ramanujacharya to Karnataka and he was greatly influenced by Ramanujacharya. Later he was named after Vishnuvardhana. In his empire, you know that Melkote, there Ramanujacharya established a temple, Cheluva Narayana temple at Melkote. So many dynasties and kings influenced by his teachings and philosophy. And so many, even lower caste people were greatly influenced by Ramanujacharya. Means he opposed caste system. He opposed caste system. Dear children, I hope you understood this, and I'll ask some more question. That is evaluating question, and that is for Vidyagama to note down the question. Which was the philosophy proposed by or advocated by Sri Ramanujacharya? Once again, which was the philosophy advocated by Sri Ramanujacharya? Answer is very simple, Visishtadvaita. What did he say about this nature and Jiva? What did Ramanujacharya say about Jiva and Prakriti? And which was the path suggested by Ramanujacharya to attain Mukti? And who were the prominent followers of Ramanujacharya? Mention the prominent dynasties were greatly influenced by. Mention the prominent dynasties greatly influenced by Ramanujacharya's philosophy. Mention the literary works of Ramanujacharya. Note down those questions and send them to school. Okay, my dear children, now we discussed two prominent and great acharyas. One is Shankaracharya and another one is Ramanujacharya. Now we are going to see another prominent acharya. It is none other than Madhvacharya. Have you ever heard about Madhvacharya? Dakshina Kannada people and Udupi people, you know that they know Madhvacharya. Even Madhvacharya is also one of the greatest acharyas. Now we are going to see Madhvacharya and his philosophy. Which was his philosophy? He advocated the philosophy of Dvaita. Who preached the philosophy Advaita? That is Shankaracharya. But which was the philosophy advocated by Madhvacharya? The philosophy advocated by Madhvacharya is Dvaita. What do you mean by Dvaita? Advaita means there is no dual. There is no dual. What is one? Dual means there is no two existence. There is two existence, Jivatma and Paramatma. Individual soul and universal soul. They are the two existence. But according to Shankaracharya, there is no two existence. Both are one and the same. Both are one and the same. But here, this is dual existence. He argues the dual existence. Later we are going to see that. Madhvacharya was born in Pajaka village near Udupi. You know that Udupi? Do you know? Yes. Udupi. Madhvacharya was born in Pajaka village near Udupi in Karnataka. His father was Madhvageha Bhatta and mother was Vedavati. Lord Vishnu was their family deity. It is said that at the very tender age, he showcased, he displayed, he showed abundant knowledge on Indian scripture, and you know that Indian scriptures. He had his education in Vedas and Upanishads from Achyuta Preksha. See, who is the guru of Shankaracharya? Govinda Bhagavad-pada was the guru of Shankaracharya, who initiated him. You know that. But here, he born at Pajaka village near Udupi. Pajaka near Udupi. Who are his parents? Madhvageha Bhatta. Madhvageha Bhatta and Vedavati. Vedavati were his parents. Vedavati is mother. He showcased his abundant knowledge. He displayed his abundant knowledge. And he had his education in Vedas and Upanishads. He learned those from Achyuta Preksha. Who was his guru? Achyuta Preksha was his guru. Achyuta Preksha was his guru. See, Achyuta Preksha later inducted him, initiated him into sannyasa. See, sometimes these gurus will identify, will see their inner heart. They study them. Thus, Achyuta Preksha inducted Madhvacharya into sannyasa. While studying under his guru, Madhvacharya independently gained great knowledge about the religious scriptures. And he defeated his guru in a debate. In such a way, he got knowledge. And he advocated Dvaita philosophy. Dvaita means what? Dvaita means two. Two. According to this philosophy, the human soul and the divine soul are separate. Shankaracharya says both are one and the same. But here Madhvacharya says both are different. Both are separated. Then, in order to propagate his philosophy, Madhvacharya took to pilgrimage to various places and participated in debates too. Then he brought Lord Krishna's idol, which was hidden in a muddy hillock called Gopi Chandana, and installed in Udupi. Further, to enable regular worship of Lord Krishna, he established 8 matas. That they are called Ashtamatas. One is Pejavara, second one is Palimaru, third one is Adamaru, fourth one is Puttige, fifth one is Sode, sixth one is Kaniyuru, seventh one is Shiruru, eighth one is Krishnapura. Which are the 8 matas established by Madhvacharya? Note down the question. Why was Madhvacharya established 8 matas? 8 matas. Who brought Lord Krishna's idol to Udupi? Which was the philosophy advocated by Madhvacharya? Who were the parents of Madhvacharya? Who was the guru of Madhvacharya? Who inducted Madhvacharya into sannyasa? These are all the questions for Vidyagama. Note down them carefully. And which are the 8 matas? Pejavara, Adamaru, Palimaru, Puttige, Sode, Krishnapura, Kaniyuru and Shiruru are the 8 matas established by Madhvacharya. According to Madhvacharya, this world is not Maya. This world is not illusory. But who says this world is Maya? Shankaracharya says this world is Maya. It is as true as Paramatma. It is as true as Paramatma or divine soul. See, if the Paramatma is true, this world is also true. That is why he says it is as true as Paramatma. It is as true as this divine soul. Between this divine soul and independent soul, see, between these, divine soul is independent. Between these means divine soul, the Jivatma and Paramatma is there. This Paramatma is independent soul. The rest of the world is illusory. The divine soul and the human soul have Lord-servant relationship. Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana is supreme. Then worship of Lord Vishnu can elevate the human and is enabled to attain moksha. Here, note on another question. Which was the path suggested by Madhvacharya to attain moksha? You know that? Yes. Then you know, he too wrote many books. They are Gita Bhashya, Gita Tatparya, Bhagavata Tatparya, then Mayavada Khandana, Maya criticizing of Mayavada of Shankaracharya. Later the philosophy of Madhvacharya was popularly known as, you know that, Dvaita, and it was propagated by great saints like Padmanabha Tirtha, Narahari Tirtha, Vijayendra Tirtha and Vadiraja Tirtha. This is all about Dvaita philosophy. I hope. And one more thing, one more question to be noted. Which are the literary works of Madhvacharya? Who spread, who popularized Madhva philosophy? You know that Padmanabha Tirtha, Narahari Tirtha and Vadiraja Tirtha were popularized. Who popularized? The Madhvacharya's Dvaita philosophy. Sai Ram, go through the textbook and video too. And I asked so many questions, note down them. Then when you are going to come to school, you come with those answers. Sai Ram.